Hey guys, it's Adrian over BHA here bringing you a new video. So the great folks over at Onwote, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, sent me over one of their solar powered Wi-Fi smart cameras to show you guys. Now this thing is a PTZ camera. Obviously it's completely battery powered and runs off of solar power to charge the batteries. It obviously gives you that flexibility to be able to install it wherever you need to, as long as you have Wi-Fi access, which makes this thing pretty cool if you're looking for that type of camera. Nonetheless, we're going to dive right in and see what we can do with it. Here we go. This thing is listed for about $100 on Onwote's Amazon storefront. So you can head over there and take a look at it. I'll have a link in the description below. But like we've already talked about, this is a completely solar-powered, battery-powered camera. It's going to be using the Cloudedge app on your phone. It does not support OnVIF, so there's no integration necessarily for Home Assistant. So if you're looking for something like that, this camera probably will not work. But we're going to dive right in and take a look at it and see what all of the capabilities are. I'll give you the rundown of everything that this is going to do. Let's get started. All right, so let's get this thing opened up. There's not a whole lot of information on the outside of the box, other than a pic of what the camera looks like, with the solar panel. But let's get this lid opened up here, and right here on top, we got a security sticker to put on your windows, outside your house, just to kind of deter anybody from breaking in. Looks like we got the manual for installing and setting this thing up. Next up here is the solar panel, which looks like it's going to be hooked up via micro USB cable, pretty standard. Plenty of length on that cable so that you can get that solar panel set up wherever you need to get the most light and power for the camera. Let's see. Looks like we got various mounting brackets here for both the camera and the solar panel, along with the screws for getting those mounted. Comes with anchors as well, so makes that nice. And then, of course, we got the camera itself. So it's got the Wi-Fi antennas right there on top. On the very bottom, it looks like there's power and reset buttons kind of underneath this little rubber seal here, as well as the micro SD card holder. And then at the base, looks like that is where the USB cable will plug in for the power. This also comes with a standard micro USB cable as well for setting it up initially instead of using that solar panel if you wanted to. But that's pretty much it for what comes in the box itself. And just to kind of go over or give you a quick rundown of what the main specs are for this camera, this is a 5 megapixel camera. It does have microphone and speaker, so it will support two-way audio. It has a built-in light to allow for color night vision, which is always nice. The micro SD card slot handles up to 128 gigs worth of storage, and of course the wireless supports only 2.4 gigahertz, so no 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi, which seems to be pretty standard for most cameras nowadays. Let's move on to the next step and we'll get this thing installed. Okay, we are going to be installing this camera on the back side of my house, kind of in a dead spot that I have where I don't really have any cameras currently working. And you can kind of see it's got a large area to cover. It should do a pretty good job, especially since we were talking about a PTZ camera. In this next clip here, we got the mounting bracket installed for the camera. All it really takes is 2 screws, so it makes that thing pretty easy. And of course, it's a lot easier to do it this way than having to kind of hold the camera up there while you're trying to screw everything in place. So it makes it nice having the separate mounting bracket. And here we are in the third clip where you can see the solar panel mount installed as well. So you got both of them. I was able to do mine fairly close, but you do have enough length on that solar panel power cord to allow you to place it a little bit further away if you needed to make things a little bit easier to install and to ensure that you get plenty of light for that solar panel. Lastly, we got the camera attached to the mounting bracket and solar panel mounted there on top. Again, it should get pretty good sunlight right there, so I don't think I'll have any problem. But if we can pop that rubber seal on the bottom there and hit that power button, it should turn this thing on. And at this point, let's go ahead and move on to the next step, and we'll get this thing added into the Cloudedge app. Here we are in the Cloudedge app on my phone. If you haven't already set one up, you will need to create a free account in order to use this app. But once you do that, then we can select the type of camera that we're going to be going with, which is the battery camera for that solar powered camera. And then it kind of walks us through all the steps of getting this thing set up. We have to power it on, and then it wants us to hold the reset button down until the light on the front starts flashing. Now it's ready to get added into the Wi-Fi. So of course we have to put in our Wi-Fi credentials. Now this will be 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi because again, this does not support 5 gigahertz. But once we get that information in there, it wants us to confirm that it's correct. And now we are ready to basically hold the phone in front of the camera so that it will scan that QR code. And once it's scanned correctly, you will hear the camera beep to let you know that it's done. And then at this point, we've got the camera successfully added into the app. And it kind of runs through an installation guide here at the end. If you haven't already mounted the camera, then you can kind of follow these steps and it'll help you get this thing mounted. We, of course, have already done that, so we are ready to move on to the next step. And we will kind of go over all of the settings and capabilities within the Cloudedge app. Here we are in the app looking at the camera. And right there at the bottom, you can see you have the ability to take screenshots. We can record video as well as use the two-way audio to talk to the person on the other end of the camera. You also have your motion detection there, as well as PTZ controls to be able to move that camera around. And we have the ability to turn on the spotlight as well, which of course you can't see right now with it being daytime. But if we go into these settings in the top corner there, right on the top, we have all of the device information, and this is where we can change the name. Since we haven't done that yet, I'm going to go ahead and change it to Backyard PTZ. We have the ability to enable or disable the ability to receive push notifications if we wanted to. Under alarm management is where we get the motion detection settings, so we can set the sensitivity on the sensor as well as change the mode that we want based on power consumption and whether or not we want to save battery or not. Next up, we got the image settings. So depending on how we have the camera mounted, we can flip that image if we wanted to. And we also can adjust the night vision settings for whether it's going to use the color night vision or just your standard IR night vision. Time settings, you have the ability to change from 24-hour or 12-hour clock depending on your preference. Under sound settings is where we can adjust for the two-way audio if we want, as well as the speaker volume on the camera itself. If you wanted to enable video encryption for added security, this is where you could do that, and it kind of gives you some information explaining all the details of what all that means. If you have paid for their Cloudedge service, you can take advantage of the AI analysis like people detection, pet detection, car detection, and even package detection. Under battery management, it shows you the current state of your camera and battery usage. Under recording management is where you can adjust your settings for recording if you were using a local SD card there on the camera. And remember, it takes 128 gigs worth of SD card. Here under cloud storage service, it kind of gives you the rundown of the premium service versus just your standard free service. obviously the premium being their paid service. Lastly, you have the ability to check for firmware version, and you can do updates from there if you needed to. You also have the ability to reboot the camera if you needed to do that as well. But that's about it for the settings in the app itself. Let's go ahead and move on to the last step. I'll show you some sample footage from the camera and give you my final thoughts. To start us off, here is some footage from the camera itself. So we have the daytime footage here that looks pretty good. I mean, this is a 5 megapixel quality camera, so the quality is really not bad. It's comparable to other 5 megapixel cameras that we've looked at, on previous videos and whatnot. Here is some nighttime footage as well. The first part of this clip has the color night vision, so that light's turned on, so you can kind of see what that looks like. It does a pretty good job of illuminating the area. The second part of the clip, I've turned off that light, so you get the IR night vision, or the infrared night vision, and you can kind of see what that looks like as well. Again, pretty decent 5 megapixel quality. So again, this camera is about $100 on Amazon. I'll have the link in the description below. For those spots that you might have that you don't have a good way to get power to, or maybe network, as long as you have good Wi-Fi coverage and sunlight for the solar panel, this camera actually works out pretty well. Now again, being the solar powered, battery powered camera that it is, you don't get the ability to add it into Home Assistant because you're not getting any kind of RTSP or OnVIF capability there. But if you're just looking for some cameras to cover some areas that are kind of hard to reach, but get decent sunlight, then this is definitely something that you might want to consider. Now, I'll have the link to Onwote's website in the description below. If you're not interested in this particular camera, head over there and see what other products that they offer. As always, I want to thank everybody for donating to my Buy Me a Coffee link. Every little bit helps. If you haven't had a chance, head over to my spring merchandise page and check out all the Burns home automation merchandise. If you're looking for the latest smart home gear, you're going to want to check out SMONet. I'll have a link in the description below. Head over there and see what deals they currently have running. And if you're looking for the latest smart window treatment, you're going to want to check out SmartWings. I'll have a link in the description below for them as well. Head over there and see what deals they currently have running. If you're interested in buying and selling stock or maybe cryptocurrency, check out Robinhood. I'll have a link in the description below. If you sign up with that link, you and I both will get a free share of stock. It's a win-win for both of us. If you liked the video, please subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions or comments, hit me up in the comments below. As always, if there are any videos out there that you would like to see that I don't already have out there, let me know in the comments as well, and I'll see if I can't get something put together for you guys. Otherwise, I'll see you guys around.